This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, we've been spending this week, guys, drowning in a vampire's paradise. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is one half of the Spooktober.
What's up? It's Willie. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, man, good to hear from you too. How were the jungles of Cambodia, sir?
Oh, I got ate by a tiger.
And then he shitted you out.
I got better. Yeah,
I got better. Dude, do you remember that TV show, I Shouldn't Be Alive? Or like those shows familiar. Like that? I
remember 99 Ways to Die or something, which I think was a kind of similar show, except they did died. Yeah.
Funniest 1,000 Ways to Die I ever saw was a dude died at an ICP concert because he tried to cut their power, but he was standing in ankle-deep fucking Fago and got zapped. And LOL at him.
That is something.
But no, there was a show like I Shouldn't Be Alive. It was one of those types of shows. This person, I think, was like, I don't think they were in the Amazon, but they were in some sort of jungle area. It might even been the Amazon. They were like a researcher or something, but they were canoeing and they were camping, and all of a sudden they started getting these sores all over them. And I mean, like they were all over their body, and they said that it became so painful that they couldn't barely move. They were like laying by their canoe on the shore, just like not knowing how they were going to go on. And a fucking like tribal person comes walking up, like painted up and everything, has like this bowl, and comes up to them and like sits down and like holds their hand out, like calm down. And gets this salve and starts rubbing it on these spots on this person. And the person's like, said that he had seen plumes of smoke coming from the distance, but he didn't think anything of it. He think it might be a little wildfire or something like that. Noticed it was a tribe. And he said after the salve was on there for a little bit, the dude gave him a stick and put it in his mouth to bite on. And the dude started pressing on these sores and popping out these fly larvae that had bit him and laid. Oh, dude, it was the most raunchy. This is Spooktober.
Oh,
so
that's vile, dude.
It was awful. He said that once he got all of them out and everything, that he thanked them and he gave them some, I think maybe some of the food that he had or something in exchange. And he got on his canoe and got back to where his vehicle was and stuff as quick as possible. He said he was sore at that point, but lucky he felt like a weight off his shoulders because he could move. He's like, it didn't feel painstaking anymore. It was just sore. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm never going to the jungle ever. Like,
yeah, that's
that's like that parasite that can get dudes when you pee into a lake. It'll just
the candiru fish
swim up your urine and
yeah, it's a candiru fish.
Fuck that. Welcome to Spooktober, everybody. We're here.
Yeah, we're starting off with body horror, which isn't the theme of this game at all. But
no, I mean, it could be. I have a theory about like the overarching theme of this game, but I could be wrong about it. It could be sure overthinking it. But
but that's interesting. I would like to hear that because I just kind of took it as it was presented to me. I didn't really think about it too much.
Fair enough. What you been playing, my good sir?
Well, I finally got back into that. Okay, well, actually, it's been a little while since I've been on the show. So, did I mention going to the pinball arcade a little while ago?
You have not.
Like, I went to a. Okay, cool. Yeah, I went to a local barcade called Rec Bar. It's out in Jeffersontown. And they have like 50 pinball games and like several dozen arcade machines too. And so I got to play some games that I've only ever really been able to play on like software before instead of never been able to play them in real life. So finally got to try my hand at physical copies of a lot of games.
I was curious. The only pinball game that I'm familiar with that's software is the Space Pinball game. Is that an actual table, or is that just something that is made specific, or if people made it?
I think that was made specifically for that. There was originally a set of 3 pinball tables that were put together in one piece of software. 3D Space Cadet Pinball was broken out to be its own program so they could bundle it with Windows. But I don't think it's based on a real table. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of fan recreation of it.
I think that would be cool to walk into like a pinball place one day and you just walk up on that and you're just like, oh, I know this!
I think maybe it might be possible to like recreate it on a virtual pinball table too, which is kind of like a full-sized emulation of a pinball table that like it's like it has a screen that like it runs the length of the table and stuff, and runs the emulated software, but is a lot more realistic than playing it on a computer screen.
Yeah, I think I've heard you talk to me about that before. The some kind of emulator that you use for table, like an actual pinball table.
Yeah, you could install it on a full size real like emulated table. I just play it on my computer screen because I'm a baby. I don't have the money for a full size pinball table, but it seems like it'd be a cool thing to do. I know Paul's talked about considering getting one of those before. But so I got to play these on real hardware for the first time, and so I got to play Monster Bash, which is a fun game about the Universal monster starting a rock band.
That's awesome.
That ended up being the one. That ended up being the one I played the most. It's great. I am Count Rockula.
Fuck yeah.
There was Funhouse, which is like a game about messing with a funhouse. I don't know. There's like a dummy, like a ventriloquist dummy that like talks to you, and you can. The main goal is to get him to fall asleep and then shoot the ball into his mouth because he's got the actual dummy head on the table. It's pretty fun. What else was there? Fish Tales, which I think I've mentioned before when I started playing virtual tables. It's just a really fun game about lying about fishing. Like, you have to actually catch a fish, but you get more points by lying about the fish than by actually catching it.
It was a mile wide if it was a foot, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, let's see. What were the other ones I really liked? There were a few other ones I played. I played the new Stern Godzilla game. It's been like come out a couple years ago, and it's $1 per play, but it really rocks. Like, it is a really good machine. Like, the screen is like that game's really recent. So the screen is like really high quality and stuff, and it's like showing video footage from movies and stuff. And I don't know, it's really cool. I don't know how to describe these games in a really useful way because I'm not an expert. I'm just like I like playing these games.
Hey man, that's what counts.
Yeah. There was another one I was really excited about getting to play too, but I don't remember what it was now. Yeah, they have all the classics too. Like if you wanted Addams Family, of course they got Addams Family. They had a lot of the new Stern rock band based ones like Rush, Foo Fighters, and Led Zeppelin and Metallica.
Kiss one's probably too expensive.
I don't remember if they had a Kiss. I think there was a Kiss table in the 90s. I think they might have had that. If they had a Kiss table, I wouldn't have noticed it. I think they had an AC/DC one too, and I don't really care. Yeah. So I just was like, okay, where is, Bride of Pinball?
I just feel like a Kiss machine would be $5 to play because Gene Simmons is a greedy fuck.
Yeah, but the plunger would look like a big tongue, and that would be cool. Really, really fun to touch your hands. Not at all disgusting.
What if they made it like where it's actually like tongue, like it feels it's not just a plastic tongue, it's just like an actual like rubber tongue. You're like, that would be gross.
It would be completely filthy by day one. Too.
Oh yeah, it'd be disgusting.
Although, come to think of it, if you did make a Kiss pinball table, and this may already exist because I don't know if there is one or not, but I feel like there was one. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a big Gene Simmons head on there and use the tongue as a ramp. Shoot the ball up into the tongue or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that.
Let's see. In addition to that, let's see. Played some. Been playing that new Doom 1 and 2 version. The new content Legacy of Rust, which has some new monsters in it, which have been pretty difficult to deal with. Like I'm actually playing it on one of the easiest difficulties. I'm playing on Hey Not Too Rough, which is basically there's like baby, easy, medium, hard, and nightmare, and that's easy. It's not quite baby mode, but it's pretty easy. And I still have like died twice in episode 1, so it's not just straight up walk in the park like the original Doom would be.
Yeah.
There's been some cool stuff in it. Like this new Doom 1 and 2 it can now run mods that use Boom and MBF features. So Legacy of Rust actually makes use of some of those. I've noticed like things scrolling in directions that they can't in the original vanilla Doom, and like more complicated bits of machinery and stuff.
So if I were wanting to play now, do I no longer need Z Doom or whatever I was using?
You would still need Z Doom if you wanted to play Brutal Doom. Or some of the mods, but if the mod was a MBF, an MBF 21, or a Boom compatible one, then you should be able to play it in the official port now.
Okay, I've been wanting to check out the one about the dude's house.
Oh, that one does require GZ Doom.
Okay, GZ Doom. Okay, so I'll have to get that at some point because I do like Brutal Doom.
I think. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is the scripting from Z Doom is like kind of proprietary or hard to port over to other things. So most Doom players keep like a more vanilla install and a GZ Doom install on their computer so they can play like wacky weapon mods. Like I definitely use GZ Doom to play what's called Final Doomer, which is just a bunch of different weapon sets based around certain Doom, like classic and contemporary Doom mods. It was called Final Doomer because originally it was built to be weapon sets for the 2 episodes of Final Doom, but now there's like 8 different weapon sets. My favorite is the JPCP, or Japanese Community Project one, because it's got like just cool like cyberpunk weaponry and like a silent katana, so you can actually do melee kills without waking up monsters. It's pretty cool.
The way that you fumbled up there a little bit in the beginning, I thought you were going to say the JCPenney set, and I was going to be like, bro, what is in that? Are you running around with a mannequin arm that fires out?
I got my BFG on layaway, so I can't quite tell you about that yet. But
I did get this sweet jacket.
Yeah, I was going to say, you will not believe the incredible savings on American Eagle and Polo. Lacoste, more like low cost.
They even have Doom Guy sizes in the big and tall section.
It's not the big and tall, it's the rip and tear.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Man.
Somebody create a Doom mod where you're running through a JCPenney, and that's what, instead of big and tall, make it rip and tear. The rip and tear section. Then you got the Cacodemon section, and you got the Demon Lord section. I can't remember its fucking name. The
Cyber Demon? The Spider Mastermind?
Yeah, Cyber Demon section. Have it pieced out like a department store, but it's just places where there's enemies.
I mean, I've played Doom mods that take place in relatively realistic places, or at least that start off realistic and get twisted and hellish as they go. Like, Going Down starts off as an office-sized skyscraper. I think you could totally make a satisfying Doom megawad that takes place entirely in a shopping mall.
I think that would be cool. And you could also...
It's too bad the perfect title was already taken, because there was a movie called Chopping Mall.
Oh, that would be cool. Man, you could call...
I mean, there's a lot of potential to use mall, like MAUL. I think that's the easiest way to go with it.
Doom Mall? Or Mall Doom?
Mall Doom is actually not terrible. Like, it feels very old-timey. It feels like a 90s mod name, but...
Also sounds like a D&D play, like a place you need to go in D&D. Oh, I need you to go to Mall Doom.
It's right besides Mordor and Morgoth and Mordorks.
Mordorks. That's the convention.
Yeah.
Take the ring to the Valley of Mordorks. Smells like...
Bring your Axe body spray, because it's gonna be stunk in there.
I was just about to say I can smell the blood on their Axe body spray from here.
Nice.
Oh, man. Have a D&D movie or a scene where, like, your dwarf guy takes his axe and just splits somebody and gets sprayed with their blood and be like, oh, I love a good Axe body spray. Great dad joke just in the midst of a battle.
You know, I mean, that's what dad is short for. Dungeons and Dragons.
Fucking hell. Yeah. There we go. It all comes together like a fucking Ouroboros.
Yes.
You see, life is a circle. That's a reference maybe one or two listeners will laugh at. So yeah, man, what else you been up to? Anything interesting?
Let's see. Nah, just mostly video game talk this week, I'm afraid. I can't think of anything cool personally going on. That one new job didn't last very long because they overhired, so I'm still on the hunt for something new.
I feel you there, brother. I'm right there with you.
I mean, it makes sense. I'd already, it was a seasonal position anyway, so it's like I'd already made peace with the fact that it wasn't a forever home.
Yeah, I've thought about trying to do some seasonal work, but then I feel like, well, what if I end up liking it? And then they're like, oh, well, yeah, we'll get out of here. And it's like, wow, that sucks. But, so, I don't know. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, sir, I have gotten back into Final Fantasy 11. Not 14. 11? The
older MMO.
The one that I first played on a PS2, which just baffles my mind that game is still running, and I used to play it on PS2. It's just wild.
That is wild. Can you still play it on a PS2?
No, these days the only way to play it is on PC, but it was PS2, and then it got a slight graphical upgrade when it went to 360, and then they have since stopped support for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360, but I think that those both were supported up until like 2015.
That's wild, but I've seen games I literally saw in the patch notes for NetHack, like 2 or 3 years ago, they finally removed support for the Apple II.
Wow. And that doesn't mean you can't play it on there anymore. It just means you can't update your NetHack. NetHack still runs on an Apple II.
Yeah, it just means you have to play version 3.4 instead of 3.6.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. On a fucking Apple II. It's funny, the game that we played this week, one of the descriptions of the game says you can run this. It's just talking about under the description of system requirements. It just says you can run this.
It's true. I mean, it's the same developer as Dusk, which also had pretty low system requirements. It's very efficiently. I think it's made in Unity, so if your computer can run any kind of 3D Unity program at all, and pretty much all of them can at this point, like, I've never heard of someone not being able to run, like, Slender or something, like the original Slender.
Yeah, and I think this is like a 200 megabyte game. It's not very big.
Yeah, 200 megabytes is almost exactly right, yeah. Because I remember I was reading some guides and stuff on Steam, and someone was flipping out in the comments because they were upset about something, and someone was just like, bro, you're getting mad about a 200 megabyte download.
Yeah, for real. Like, calm your tits.
So that's, I think, maybe the first thing I want to bring up before we even talk about the pitch is this game is so lightweight. It's 300 or 200 megabytes and $6. Like, yep. This game will not set you back anything. You can afford it and you can play it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, roughly an hour long. It's maybe more if you want to go back in and try to find more afterwards.
Yeah, but I would say a solid playthrough is almost exactly an hour.
But yeah, so I have...
Oh yeah, what else is going on?
I have been, so playing Final Fantasy 11, I've been talking to Tyler and Dave both about it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're old Final Fantasy 11 players and stuff. And it's just been really, really fun to go back and play things that I never got that far when I was younger, you know? When I played it back in the day, that game, fuck, you think Dark Souls and shit's hard, bro? Like, Final Fantasy 11 was notoriously hard. Like,
I thought it was less that it was notoriously hard and more like the devs didn't like the way people were beating stuff, so they would patch out the way they did it anytime they succeeded in anything.
Well, anytime that... Well, people would use, you could say, like, workarounds and glitches and stuff to beat some things that the devs were like, no, you can't do that. And they would patch that out. But if anytime somebody did it legitimately, they would leave them alone. But the game didn't respect your time.
I might be thinking about a different game then.
It didn't respect your time at all. Yeah. It's like, this boss might take you guys 18 hours to beat straight. Like, you know, that kind of thing. It's just, and they, I never got into all that content. I think I got one character to max level back then, my monk. I think I got him to 75 and that was it. Now the max level is 99. And then you go above that with like, almost like prestige in Call of Duty in a way. But, some of the cutscenes and the writing that I've been, you know, witnessing from these, not DLCs, expansions that I had never really gotten into the actual quests because Final Fantasy 11 was really weird. It was like, you didn't know that person had a quest to give you unless you just randomly talked to them and they would give you a quest. And then it's like, they might tell you where to go next, or you might just need to go talk to every fucking NPC in the town. And, you know, it was like one of those games. The guy who created 11, I can't remember his name, but he was he got super into the first EverQuest when he was in America and was like, we need to do something like this with Final Fantasy. And that's what created. And he felt so strongly about the story that he made it a mainline game. And I could tell you...
Yeah, I always thought that was strange that it became numbered as a mainline game. Because I would have absolutely, if I had been like a square head at the time, I would have called it Final Fantasy Online. No question about it. Same like Elder Scrolls did.
Yeah, and a lot of people did call it Final Fantasy Online. They were like, no, this doesn't count as a... But, dude, it's got a pretty fucking good story. I'm actually quite surprised.
I've heard people say that about 14, too, that the story actually does stand up within the Final Fantasy mainline.
14 is also very good.
But people also lie to you a lot about Final Fantasy XIV and say, like, oh, it's practically a single-player game, man. You don't even need to party up with other people ever. And it's like, I mean, I guess if you just want to fight rats. Yeah,
I mean, yes and no, because now they've kind of introduced a way to run dungeons with NPCs the way that in Final Fantasy XI has a trust system. So you don't have to party with other people. You can just get these trusts and summon them and have your own party. I've literally played everything so far since I've resubbed 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, that's cool.
I've played everything solo.
That's nice. I figured you'd have to because I can't imagine it has as big of a fan base as, like, player base as 14, but it's got to have enough that they're keeping it going. Is it still subscription based or like what's the model?
Yeah, it's still subscription based. It is cheaper than 14, of course, but
okay.
It's I'm on so I joined, this is for Tadpog listeners. I joined a server because the server I'm on, Quetzalcoatl, because Miller was on that server. And Miller gave me some gil and stuff like that to get me started. But he was on kind of one of the lower pop servers. So there are higher population servers than the one I'm on. But I still see people. I mean, I'm in a link shell that have people on daily that I chat with. So, I mean, it's not completely dead. Mikolov did point out the other day when I took the picture of that Sandoria, and he was like, dude, there's no one there. I was like, well, yeah, dude, this game's like over 20 years old. Don't expect it to be as populated as 14 is. But it's got its it's got its quirks for sure, but I love it, man. You know, it's just it's amazing. And I used a little HD texture pack thing, and it's a program called Windower that lets you run it in 60 frames per second and lets you alt tab without the game shitting itself, which is
always
major.
Good to have.
Yeah, which is major. So other than that, what else have I been up to, dude? Still plugging away at Firestone.
I will say,
go ahead.
It's not as big of an issue anymore these days, but I feel like alt-tabbing and crashing the whole computer, or at least not giving you the right resolution, was one of my major pain points with PC gaming for many years.
Yes. Drives me fucking nuts, dude. Especially, like, Oblivion.
You said you're up just playing Firestone. I've seen you on that. So is it just one you leave open in the background? Because, like, I don't know how Firestone works exactly. I think I downloaded it, but didn't actually do anything in it.
Yeah, it's just an idle game.
Is it like one of the fighting ones where you, like, have, like, a little party and you go through a certain number of monsters and you go to the next stage or whatever? Or, like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I just let it run because it doesn't take up much to just run, you know.
Yeah, I've been messing with Unnamed Space Idol a good amount lately, too, now that you mentioned it. Because it doesn't require a lot of babysitting either. You can just kind of get in, tweak some stuff, and then let it ride for a little while.
Yeah, I pop into Firestone maybe every couple hours and just, like, click a couple things and then pop back out. Most of my stuff happens that I do in it at 10 a.m. every day because that's when it resets. So anytime after 10 a.m., I have a bunch of stuff to do when I wake up, and then after that, it's just letting it do its thing. Diablo 4's new expansion came out, The Vessel of Hatred. It's gotten ridiculously good reviews, so I made a character to go try out with that, and it seems pretty good so far. When I've been able to peel myself away from playing Final Fantasy, Diablo has been fun as well. I acquired a bunch of different 4X games because I've been on a kick about playing 4X games. Really enjoying Age of Wonders 4.
Ah, yeah.
Fantastic. It's like Civilization with magic and beasts and things like that.
Sounds awesome.
It's really fun, dude. And what's the other one that I've been dabbling in? Anno 1800.
I feel like I know that name. That's one.
It's a city builder.
That's one of the more, like, okay, I was gonna say it's one of the more historic ones,
yes,
right?
And it's in depth, and
yeah,
I am struggling with it, but I'm learning. I picked up.
That's the thing about those strategy games is some of them let you get real nerdy with it.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten to the depth of like where I'm putting in like water lines and things like that yet, but just trying to build up a nice city for the 1800s.
You saying that just made me want to get back and try City Skylines again now that I have a computer that can run it.
Oh, shit. I have that game, too. I do enjoy City Skylines.
Yeah. I tried to run it on my laptop. It just had such a miserable frame rate that I couldn't have a good time with it.
I got Total War 3 Kingdoms because, you know, I'm a sucker for 3 Kingdoms stuff, Dynasty Warriors, all that shit. Like, I love Romance of the 3 Kingdoms. So I've been looking forward to diving into that. I haven't yet because when I got that, I was too balls deep into Kakarot.
And it's so funny that there's got to be like a certain generation of kind of geeky kids who know 2 of the 4 great classic Chinese novels just because of Dragon Ball and Dynasty Warriors, you know?
Right. And then now Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, that's true,
so
yeah.
It's going to be another, you know, Legend of the shit.
A Journey to the West.
Thank you. I was going to say Legend of the Hidden Temple. I'm like, that is not right at all. That's a Nickelodeon show. The fuck am I talking about?
The Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
Yeah, bitch. Exactly.
That was the worst Olmec voice. He is like twice as low as that.
The Shrine
that's
the Silver Monkey. And then I've been thinking about diving back into Eowyn Chronicle.
Oh, nice.
But I
see people talking about that every now and then. It always makes me think of you.
100 Heroes, man, is really good. I want to beat Rising first, though, which was like a little mini game that they put out before 100 Heroes came out. It's a side-scroller RPG with city builder mechanics, but it's like the prequel. 200 Heroes.
Is that kind of like ActRaiser?
Yes.
I remember there was a Super Nintendo game called ActRaiser that had a similar city builder / RPG thing that people were crazy about at the time.
There was a remake of ActRaiser on Steam. Did you know that?
That's right. Yeah, it had, because I think it's one of those games that let you do the graphics flip.
I believe so. I want to check it out at some point. I mean, I remember hearing that ActRaiser was really quite a fun game for the SNES, and that's the first game in my favorite series on the SNES because that's the ActRaiser, Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma.
Oh. Nice. Oh, speaking of games with graphic flips, Nate's not on the show today, so he can't really talk about it, but I noticed he recently played through Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap.
Such a good game.
That one looked like it was a lot of fun.
It's a good fucking game.
I played the TurboGrafx version on emulation back in the day, and I really enjoyed it. Like, it's not quite a Metroidvania, but it's like a game that's building to that becoming a thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a proto-Metroidvania, like Rygar or something for the NES.
it's almost like Mega Man without a level select in a way, because it's like you need to go and beat a certain area to get a certain form to then be able to go to a certain other area and beat it easier. Kind of like Mega Man. You need to go beat this guy so you can get this form to beat this dude easier. That way, yada, yada, yada.
I never really thought about that. Like Mega Man, you could almost make an argument that it had some Metroidvania elements if you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And speaking of other games me and Nate played, we both played through a Metroidvania called Islets recently, or Islets. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's a Islets. I don't know. Islets.
It's like small island, like isles. So islets.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with that reasoning. And like you suggested, small isles. The world was originally one big floating island. It broke up into 5 pieces, and you're this little cute mouse hero who has a cute little wooden airship, and you go between island and island trying to reactivate their power cores and bring them all back together.
Yeah.
It's a pretty short and easy. It's a very easy Metroidvania. Like, I had 10 total deaths.
This little screenshots that he shared, I really enjoyed. And I remember I have that for free either.
It was on Epic.
Yeah, it was either from Epic or I have it in my Amazon Prime games.
Sure.
It's one of those. But yeah, it looks like one that I would check out and enjoy. I enjoy a Metroidvania light.
It's the challenge platforming, I think, that gets to you.
Yes. It's when they make the game intentionally stupid hard that I am not a fan of.
Yeah, no, the boss battles are a little bit... I wouldn't say they're hard. They're like easier than like Rogue Legacy, but like you do have to chip them to death. The enemies have a lot of health in the boss battles, but that's like my one complaint.
I remember giving Wonder Boy quite a high score. So like games in that style,
I want to replay it now,
dude. It's worth it. I might have it somewhere that's DRM free, so I could send it to you. I'll figure it out.
I think I might have it on Epic actually.
That's a possibility too. Either way, yeah, I've been messing with that. And yeah, there's I
guess I had more gaming talk to talk about than I thought this week.
Yeah, I mean, I reinstalled a few things that I haven't played that I want to that are in my library. Ukulele being one of them.
Thinking about doing that one too. Actually,
Pumpkin Jack, which I know Nate I think 100%ed, but I figured it's October. I might as well load that up and play it.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
And then, because I haven't played one in so many fucking years, and the last time I played one was on a PS3, and that's just not the way to play these games, I installed Command & Conquer Remastered Collection.
Oh.
Because I'm like, I've been doing the 4X thing. Might as well, I did the city builder thing. Now I might as well go just the war thing and see how that goes. I've been trying to like get
the classic RTS.
Get more into using my mouse and keyboard and getting more comfortable with that. Just for the games that I have to use my mouse and keyboard, I'm used to it with MMOs, but when it comes to games like, say, Arma 3 has something that you can, almost every fucking key on your keyboard has something that it does. So like, I would like to get to the point where I'm comfortable with like, okay, I'm moving, but I need to reach over and hit F7 or something like that, which is very almost alien to me still. It's just weird having to hit.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like the old Commodore 64 days when they had those weird ass controls like that.
Yeah.
I actually tried to play Elite for the Commodore 64 recently, and I'm still not good enough to dock with the station, so it's going to be a while before I can actually do anything useful in that game. But, like, every button does something, and, like, if you don't have the manual printed out or on another screen or something, you're going to have a rough time.
Yeah, and that's...
At least as a beginner.
Arma is like that, too, because it's a military simulation game. So it's intense. But Arma's got this fucking... And if we ever did it for the show, this is the only thing I would want us to do, is it's got a DLC called Contact that's about aliens. Okay. And they were like, we wanted to do a what if. So after all these years of being super realistic, we decided, you know what? We're doing a what if DLC. What if aliens came down? What would happen? And I really want to check it out, but fucking hell, that game's hard as shit.
Right. Understandable.
It really is, because it's like your enemies will go down in a bullet or two if you're accurate, but like if your enemies are accurate, you also go down in a bullet or two. So you got to be strategic and hide. And yeah, it's just intense.
Yeah. Those tactical shooters, I'm more of a boomer shooter guy. I like to run fast and blast ass.
I like a happy medium. I know that sounds odd, but like, I don't know, Call of Duty, not quite, but like with the Battlefield games and stuff like that, I really used to enjoy the single players in those. Or Medal of Honor. I used to love Medal of Honor.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the biggest of all the genres, or at least it was for a while. I don't know. I guess these days they're playing mostly battle royales and hero shooters.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, I heard that there's like a 60-player kart racing game that came out a while back that people are really excited about, but I forgot what it was called.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of hero games, Smite 2's coming out.
Oh,
like, I enjoy Smite 1.
I was told that Smite is probably the best MOBA for beginners.
It reminds me so much of playing arenas in World of Warcraft, because it's either like 3-on-3 or 5-on-5. There might be one that's 6-on-6, but like it's just like a team versus a team, and you have objectives to do, and it's a good time, dude. It's really fun. I would like to play that sometime with like some buddies and actually have a team that's working together. I think we could fuck some shit up.
I'm just gonna call you an idiot who's feeding in jungle. It doesn't matter if the game has none of those terms. I'm still gonna say it.
But it's a good time. They did a crossover with Slipknot randomly where you could unlock Slipknot characters as skins for certain gods. I didn't get any of them, but it was cool. I was just a little expensive for my taste at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Smite 2 I think is in early access. I've thought about buying a Founders Edition type thing for like $30 or whatever the entry level one is, just to kind of give the devs some money, because I do enjoy that game as much as I don't play it very often. But again, playing with randos just isn't as fun, and it's hard to convince people to play a game like that.
I mean, I feel like if people are willing to baby me and walk me through the very beginner idiot mode steps, I would try to learn it.
Bro,
I require patience.
Learning with me, I don't give a fuck if we learn or lose. Let's just learn and play and have fun until we get it down, and then if we start winning, that's cool. But like, I just want to be there with my buds. That's the thing, is just like chatting while you're playing is my thing.
Yeah.
And actually like having somebody, like, say if something gets intense, to be able to be like call out something instead of me having to like spin my mouse around and like look all around to see what's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can I'll try to set that up another time. Also, I don't know if I've brought it up on this show. I might have on the Kakarot episode, so I won't go into it too deep, but I got a bunch of tabletop RPGs.
Oh yeah.
That I am really looking forward to running
you do.
at some point.
I'm absolutely on board. If you can just find me and just tell me a time, I'll probably be there for it.
Like I got the one that's based on Doom and other boomer shooters. I got the one that's
that's called Mourn.
Everyone plays a version of Nick Cage, and you guys have to go save real Nick Cage.
That's great.
I think.
So what are you like? I'm Nick Cage from Face Off.
Yes.
I'm Nick Cage from Raising Arizona.
Yes,
okay,
it's
awesome.
your personalities. The personalities have been ripped from the original Nick Cage, and he's left as a shell in a cage, and you have to go save him. And I would just have to come up with a story of how he got there.
Horrible accident filming The Wicker Man.
Not the base. Yeah, dude, it'd be great. I think there's a bunch of them in there that sound really fun. Like there's one that's based on Lucha Libre.
Yeah,
which could be a blast.
And a lot of them are built for one shots. Like I'm sure a lot of them are probably single page documents.
Yeah, there's a lot of 1-page one shots. There's a lot of them that are journaling RPGs that are solo games. Which I guess you just play those by yourself. But if they're cool enough, you can work the stories into stuff with other people. I guess if you're creative.
And there's definitely a lot of those too. If you got the itch.io like relief bundles, like the one for Ukraine and the one for racial justice, like I think those also had a lot of little tabletop games in them too. So there's probably a lot of stuff.
So I've got like over 300 of them now, because this bundle I got was over 300 itself of just, but it was for the cause. Again, I'm going to put this out there. The cause, it was I don't remember the name of it. But what they're doing is they're making polyhedral dice that are braille. And they want to make them more affordable for people who are blind or sight impaired, so that more people can enjoy D&D.
That's good, yeah.
So I was like, dude, I'll throw $10 at that. Why not?
So is it actually like braille, or do they have like some other code systems?
No, I think it's braille to do the numbers on the dice.
I was gonna say that makes sense, because I was like, how would you come up with a code system for a D20? And I'm like, actually, braille would probably work.
Yeah. Well,
I hope that the little bumpies don't mess up the rolls, though, because it would suck if you couldn't get a 20 because all the bumps were on that roll,
Yeah, that would suck. I'm
sure they thought it out. I'm sure that there's some kind of, way to keep it somewhat precise. And it's not like these are like casino dice either, it's a game.
The TTRPGs for Accessible Gaming Charity Bundle. That's what it's called. Gotcha. 314 items for $10.
Not bad.
There's one of them, I just love the name of it. Tyranny Forever. Yeah, a lot of them are hacks of other
just
types.
Semper Tyrannis.
As well. Like, there's a lot of them that are just like hacks of other types of TTRPGs that I don't have, but I could make work. Really, there's.
I mean, if any of them are based on Powered by the Apocalypse, that's a really simple system to modify. So, like, I could probably teach you the in and out of Powered by the Apocalypse in like a minute, because I ran a Monster of the Week game for a little while, and that uses that system. One
thing I also like too is that there is a handful of them that are just rolling systems and like stat systems for you to use for homebrewed games. So you're like, if you've got an idea but you don't think D20 D&D style is the way to go. This system might work for it, or this system might work for it. You know, I thought it was it's pretty neat. I'll end up going through it more eventually and hashing out some more, because I do want to do that. It is on my list of things that I would like to do for the show.
All right, well, I'm not very particular, you know. I mean, I'd be willing to try anything as long as it's easy enough to figure out how to do it, because I don't know, I enjoy this kind of games, and I would like to play some more one-shots and lightweight games.
For sure, man. And speaking of a one-shot and a lightweight game, we played Iron Lung. So let's do some obligatory Wikipedia bullshit here, sir. Iron Lung is a horror game created by David Szymanski. The game is run on Unity and published on Steam March 9th of 2022. The game requirements to run are very small, with Szymanski even joking on its Steam page, "You can run this." A Nintendo Switch port published by Dread XP was released on December 9th, 2022. Set entirely within a claustrophobic one-man submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung, you must blindly navigate an ocean of blood to take photographs of key locations, and hope whatever lies below doesn't find you. There is only a single porthole in the sub, and it needs to be closed due to depth pressure. So you have to navigate purely via an incomplete map, proximity sensors, sound, and a primitive external camera, which can be used to take pictures that you need to complete your mission, or to get a grainy low-resolution visual of what the hell is happening outside. Yeah. So what made you pick this, Willie, before we go into the story and stuff?
This is one I've been curious about for quite a while. I knew it was going to be like... It felt like it fit a really good spot for October, too, because it felt too small for a full bi-weekly episode, but too big for the indie game challenge week. And I felt like, you know, it just seemed like it would be good for that setup, but I also really liked Dusk, and this is by the same developer, so I wanted to see what else he was up to.
Yeah, speaking of the developer himself, he also has a game called A Squirrel with a Gun or something like that.
Squirrel Stapler.
Have you looked into this game?
I do not know much about it.
So you hunt squirrels to staple them to your dead wife's corpse that you have at your house.
Cool.
To resurrect her and talk to God. And at the end of the game, God comes, and that's all I know. Okay,
cool. That sounds really morbid and interesting.
Weird, right? Yeah, it sounds interesting for sure. That's a good word. But yeah, this game, let's go ahead and get this part out of the way real quick. This game got a spike in popularity recently that the developer felt bad about.
Yeah, I actually have the tweet pulled up even.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Tweeted on June 21st, 2023, David Szymanski tweeted the phrase, "This feels so wrong," and a graph of his Steam sales over the last month. And yeah, right after the wreck of the Ocean Gate submersible, the sales immediately tripled.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Well, because a lot of people were comparing what happened there, because, as he put it, I just wanted to make the most horrific thing I could, and being trapped inside a crappy submarine while everything's going wrong is the worst thing I could think of. And, you know, my heart goes out to the people who had to live through that in real life.
That's for sure. Because playing through this game, that would be awful.
Yeah, it's it is stressful.
So I'm gonna do this quick little story overview, and then we'll get into what we actually thought about the game. Okay, sound good?
All right.
Decades ago, every known star and habitable planet mysteriously vanished, along with whatever and whoever happened to be on them, leaving behind an empty universe of asteroids and lifeless moons, where only remnants of humanity are those who are on space stations or starships at the time. With supplies gradually dwindling and infrastructure falling into disrepair, the survivors have spent the subsequent years frantically searching for any trace of remaining natural resources. Up until now, they have been unsuccessful. Then, a mysterious anomaly known as a blood ocean, which is exactly what it sounds like, was discovered on an otherwise barren moon. It's not the first blood ocean found since the vanishing, but initial scans show a collection of potentially useful anomalous locations in a deep undersea trench that requires further investigation. And you are the unlucky sap who gets to investigate in an aging submarine cobbled together from rusty space station parts. Find your way to the marked locations, photograph what you find there, and finish before the sub collapses around you, or you're discovered by whatever lurks in the blood.
First off, we should point out that rusty is an extremely good word for it. This is the crummiest submersible I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can, when you're in it and you're looking around, you're like, this thing, if you cut yourself in here, you're dead of tetanus before you ever run out of air. It is fucking gnarly. And
even the indicators are really primitive. The proximity sensor you talk about is just 4 little lights one for each cardinal direction that blink and beep at you.
Yeah, it's something.
The readouts are all on 7-segment LED screens. And
so the beginning of the game, you're sinking, and the porthole is open. And there's this voice talking to you, basically giving you information, and the porthole seals. You get down to the bottom. You are now left to your own devices. It's funny because your character hasn't been trained, so they don't give you any fucking information on what to do.
There's a computer in the back of the ship that you can query with certain keywords, but it has a very limited vocabulary and isn't especially helpful. It mainly is just there to give you lore.
Yes.
And Dalton pretty much just read about half the lore of the game.
Yeah. I definitely had my Boy Scout knowledge come in handy for map reading, because I played through this game and surprisingly never once got lost or turned around, and I was very proud of myself. Like, I saw when I was reading through some of the Steam reviews, people complained that it was hard to navigate, but they didn't know how to read a map.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem either. I thought navigation was easy, except in spots where the map is incomplete. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, that one.
But I think that was intentional. It made you really stressed out because it was hard to find that passageway between like the two parts of the trench, really.
Yeah, or you had to rely on your sensors almost to like get your way through.
Yeah,
that part was a little sketch. I'll give you that.
I found that harrowing. I honestly really, really liked that part.
So the base of the game is you're making your way through, and here's what I thought. I didn't realize this game is actually like you could pan the camera out and you're actually in a 3D thing that's going on. I figured this game you were in a fucking submarine and everything else happening around you was just not scheduled. What's the word I'm looking for? Programmed. Like it was just programmed to happen. Scripted. Thank you. I figured everything in the game is scripted and that the submarine's not actually moving anywhere. It's just based on what coordinates you put in is where the ship is at, But when you start accidentally hitting walls and stuff, that's when you realize, oh no, this actually is a 3D space.
Yeah.
What was interesting to me was the camera itself. So like the grainy camera photos when you would take them, it's like, man, they could have put a better camera on this if they were really looking for research. But maybe I guess that's what they're just working with what they had, seeing as that humanity had been destroyed. But
they're not completely destroyed. There's like 800 dudes left.
Fair enough. So the gameplay itself, what did you think about it?
I really thought that the minimalism worked well for it. I feel like that because there's basically two mechanics to the game, basically, which is navigation and photographing. Like, I think that kept it good and simple. And then anything else that happened, you would automatically get your attention real quick because it was the moments where you weren't doing one of those two things.
Yeah, and also I think the sound really helped add a lot to this game, too. The atmosphere.
I would say that a lot of the atmosphere is strictly the sound and the claustrophobia.
Yeah, and fuck does this game really start the claustrophobia. It really doesn't kick in at first, to me at least. It was as things got more intense, it was like, God, there's nowhere to run in this thing. Yeah,
you feel very helpless and trapped.
Yeah, which makes the ending a bit of even more of a jump scare. Now, did you get all the way to the end? Did you get to see?
I did finish it, yes.
First time I went through, I definitely let out a little.
There were two times where I went whoa out loud. It wasn't quite a scream, but it was an audible whoa. And there was at least one time where I was just like talking to myself, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So it at least got those audible reactions out of me.
So basically, the gist of the game is that you're given this map with these points that you have to go to, and you have to navigate with an X and Y. Like you're doing a submarine, and you have a pitch to point which direction your sub is facing. So that's basically how you navigate.
And you're navigating through this narrow trench at the bottom of this ocean. So like there's a lot of walls and stuff for the most part.
Yes. And as you get to these spots, you're photographing it, and they're just kind of weird because they kind of look like skeletal.
Yeah.
And then you get to like other places, and they almost look like buildings that are sunk below blood.
Yes. Yeah.
And
it leads you wondering a lot of things really quickly.
Yeah, and you'll be going along, and all of a sudden, like, you're not near any walls, and your sensor will start going off, like, beep, 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 and then just stop. So you're something just swam by you, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Because it was big enough to set off the sensor, like, Jesus. So you kind of make your way, you're going, you take these pictures, and you end up at one.
How close to the ending should we give away?
Oh, I mean, I figured if people are listening to it, we might as well just spoil it. They can skip the ending talk if they want. So like,
okay, just maybe we'll say something right before we.
Oh
get
yeah. I'm not gonna just blow into the very end without saying.
Okay, cool.
But you end up getting to this one point where you're taking pictures, and it almost looks like a star underwater.
Yes, the anomaly.
It's like this weird. Yeah, it's called the void. If you look into the game files, it's void dot whatever. It is. It's an anomaly. So you can try to go towards it, take pictures, whatever. But once you're done doing that, you hear this like roar, and you go back over and look at your coordinates, and you are not where you were.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, what the fuck?
Yep. I was almost grateful for that too, though, because it meant I didn't have to navigate out of the incredibly narrow trench that's at the end of.
That's true. It's like getting in there was a pain in the dick.
I was dreading that. Yeah, it was like trying to back up a U-Haul truck, basically.
Or backing up an American Truck Simulator.
Yeah. Oh God, don't even get me started. I started playing Euro Truck Simulator recently, and I've completely forgotten how to move a truck trailer.
God, I love Euro Truck Simulator though, man. I love driving through Europe and stuff. It's so pretty.
I wouldn't know because I can pretty much only go through Scotland and Northern England because my dumbass set up shop in Scotland. So I will not get to see continental Europe until I get at least a couple more upgrades.
You'll expand. Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Man, so...
Now I kind of want to play more of that tonight. That's a great idea.
I might play some too. Maybe we'll make a convoy.
Hey!
So
cool.
You keep making your way through, and here is where I'm going to say skip ahead 5-10 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about some of the ending stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're going to this one particular spot and you need to take a picture, and you've been getting your pictures. They're real grainy. It's just been of bones and stuff like that. You might see like a slight face of something in the background that's kind of faded, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but you don't even know. You're like, am I reading a face into that?
Yeah.
Because it just looks so strange and alien. You're not sure what it is.
It might be your mind
but
playing
then
tricks
you get
on you.
one of those... Exactly. But then you get one of those quick beep, 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 beeps that you were talking about earlier. And this time it's kind of in the direction you're facing.
Yeah.
So you probably did the same thing I did.
Yeah, you have to run over and take the picture, and it just pops up, and it's a fucking eyeball, like a dragon's eye or something, just right there on the screen looking at you. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh, God. And then it's like, and then boom, and your ship gets hit. And I think that's when your ship starts filling with blood.
Yes. And man, I was hating it enough when the steam started coming out of the pipes. But once the ship actually started taking on blood too, I was like, no. That's the fire is when I said shit. But I also did a little, oh, no. At that point, and one of the woes was when I saw the eyeball.
Yeah. So fortunately for anyone that like is still listening to this and still would like to try it themselves, the anxiety, you could chill a little bit. The blood's only ever going to get so high.
Yeah, it tops out at the first pipe.
But that first few moments, you're like, oh shit, how long do I have to get to that last? So that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to make you rush to that last spot. So
right, that was the entire thing I was thinking was, okay, I only have one more photo to take. I've almost finished my mission. I'm sure they can pull me back up. Like, that's the only thing going through my brain now. I'm completely in character at this point.
And
like, we can get out of here.
You make your way to that last spot. You position your ship fucking perfect. You're like, all right, I'm just going to get this last picture and we can get out of here. You turn around, you go over to go take that picture. Boom! The fucking monster crunches through the back of your ship and comes at you, and it's super loud, and then boom, title. Iron Lung.
Yep.
That's it. That's the whole fucking game.
Well, you also get there's a post-credit scene that basically tells you that your ship, the photos and all that were never even found too. Everything was completely useless. And if you find enough lore in the game, you find out that basically there's two classes of submarine that they use to explore the oceans. One of which is the one they send real scientists in, and the other one is basically a death sentence for convicted prisoners. You are a former member of the other tribe of the humans, basically. The other satellite. And the Council of Steel or whatever, Iron, something like that, are the ones that basically captured you and put you in this place.
Yeah. It's like, you can also find a chat log written by someone who was on SM8. Did you ever find SM8?
I forgot to do that. That's the thing that I didn't get the achievement for. But I read about it afterwards, which is where I'm getting that info from.
So, yeah, you find, if you go, when you're going up towards that last spot, if you go to the right instead, there's like a cove where there's nothing marked. But if you take a picture there, you see a ship called SM8. You take that and you go and you put it in your little identifier log thing. And it comes up and it's a text thing that's basically this girl telling you that, you know, luckily they don't ever really check these terminals. So this is written to you, the player. This is not just an entry. And it's like, if they put you down there in an iron lug, they don't give a shit about you. Like, they're going to let you suffocate and get what they need. They just, either way, you're fine. You're fucked. The SM-8 was an actual scientific research submarine that they sent down people on that expecting them to come back up alive. And it is now laying in pieces at the bottom of this blood ocean.
I believe the theory is that the anomaly that we found was also at the wreckage of the SM-8.
That's possible.
Like, that whatever caused the time-space distortion was probably also what was powering that vessel originally.
So it's just like, there's a lot of creepy shit just kind of hidden in the game.
Yeah, the game has an evocative lore that's very quick. Like, it buys into its own lore immediately. It's not one of those things that's like, I have to explain why there's an ocean of blood. It's like, there's an ocean of blood, most of humanity's dead, deal with it.
Yeah.
And I respect that out of my horror, you know?
Yeah. I took it as an analogy for, like, not being able to escape death. Like, that you as a person are dropped into a sea of blood, being humanity. You're not given any instructions on how to do anything. You just have to navigate your way blindly through life. And that eventually something is coming to get you, and there's no avoiding it, and it's death. And it's going to get you when you least expect it. And that was kind of me thinking way too far into this game, a few joints in, watching video.
But it's not too dissimilar from the theory that Missile Command is about the horrors of nuclear war because there's no way to win. And instead of saying game over, it just says the end.
Yeah. Well, good. Now I feel a little better.
Like, that's true. That's actually factually intended. So, like, you've just come up with a very similar theory that I'm sure if Szymanski thought about it, as long as he thought about the lore, that probably is close to the message he was intending to get at. Or if not, the message was just helplessness in general, which is how people feel when they think about that sort of thing, too. You just kind of taken it to a more existential plane.
Whoa, man. Far out. But yeah, dude, I thoroughly enjoyed this, man. I went into it and I saw the graphics and I started playing it and I'm like, well, surely this is just going to be some little
You
shtick.
Expected basically like a freeware Unity game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got a little more than that, and I was impressed.
I feel like I was absolutely dead correct in my call that this was a perfect game for the paid parts of October, not too much for the indie section, and too little to do a bi-weekly episode on.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say that this is a good choice, my good sir. You made a good...
I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out, and I'm looking forward to the next ones, as we have some good stuff lined up for the rest of the month as well.
For sure. So we can, we can rate this if you want, but I almost feel like that this game, like, I feel like it's just an experience. It's less than a game, more an experience. I feel like I can't give it a rating.
It's really hard to score it as a game. Like, I can't imagine speed running Iron Lung.
I'll give it a movie recommendation of a thumbs up. Yeah,
then I'll join you and we can give it the old classic Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Give it a shot.
I highly recommend it. It's $6. It's 200 megabytes. It runs on your computer unless you have an Apple II. And even then, the text terminal probably still would work.
I could see people taking this game like Doom and getting it to run on a bunch of weird shit just because it's not that hard to get it to run.
Yeah, if you disassembled it and basically got rid of the actual 3D map and had it run the way you imagined it originally under the hood, just have like a 2D map that the player does navigate through, and then the photos would actually be just like pre-rendered images. You could absolutely get this running on a Commodore 64.
Yeah. And it
wouldn't have the 3D movement, but it would, you have different screens. You have a camera screen and a nav screen and a map screen or something.
And I think it would work just as well. And I think people would be really endeared by it because it's like, oh, it's...
Dude, I wonder if anyone's made a Pico 8 demake of this, because people love demaking for the Pico 8, and I think it would work.
I was going to say...
Maybe I should.
I was going to say, yeah, you man, go for it. Like, I was going to say, they could people love PlayStation 1 demakes, but this game looks like a PlayStation 1 game already, so you couldn't really demake it into that.
Yeah, this game is straight up at the PlayStation 1 or Quake 1 level of graphics. Which makes sense, because, I mean, I think that's where David Szymanski seems to feel the most comfortable.
Yeah, I feel like you start getting any more in-depth than that, you start opening yourself up to more ridicule, because you get past the point of quirky retro-style graphics, and you start getting into, oh, well, you tried to make it look modern, it looks like fucking shit, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I feel like horror games tend to benefit from nostalgia anyway, because for a lot of people, horror is a nostalgic genre. We associate it with, like, renting VHS tapes. We associate it with, like, PlayStation 1 games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. We associate it with the past in general and happy teenage memories. So running a game with retro graphics in the horror genre feels right.
Yeah, I can agree with it.
And it also helps the games have the same indie ethos that works for horror, B-movies, and independent projects,
Yeah, for sure.
That was way too much. Now I'm the one over analyzing shit.
All right. let's get into some listener questions, my good sir.
Yeah, all I'm saying is the second time one of the pipes burst, I really hated that. That was just the steam coming out. It isn't. Yeah, that was that was good tension.
There were a few different moments in the game that like I never quite like jumped out of my chair, but like my chest would tighten and I'd be like,
I definitely kicked backwards at those 2 times where I said whoa. So yeah, let's get into fan questions, please. Listener questions, audience questions.
All right,
not us questions.
So I forgot to copy them in the chat, sir.
Yeah, when Nathan was on the show more often, he would usually do the fan questions. We're kind of spoiled. Nate, we miss you. Come back and be our secretary.
So if you will, click on show questions and then scroll up to the build your Halloween candy lineup. We'll start there. Because I know that there's...
Oh, yeah, that was a good
We'll just skip over the ones that are about DBZ because we answered those on the DBZ show, but I skipped over the rest of the questions because it was getting late for Mickey.
I understand. Where is the question? There it is.
Should be 9:23:24.
23. Oh, that's further up than I thought it was going to be. Alrighty. 9:23. Oh, okay. There it is.
All right. So, this one comes in from Jeff. Build your Halloween candy lineup. You got $15. The $5 tier, you got Reese's Cups, Twix, Kit Kat, Snickers, Peanut M&Ms. $4 tier, Milky Way, Reese's Pieces, I guess I should say, Crunch Bar, Butterfinger, and Starburst. $3 tier, Sour Patch Kids, Three Musketeers, M&M's, Junior Mints, and Skittles. $2 tier, Baby Ruth, Hershey's, Nerds, Swedish Fish, and Airheads. $1 tier, Warheads, Candy Corn, Tootsie Pops, Tootsie Rolls, and Gummy Bears.
Some good stuff on here. I'm tempted to go kind of basic with mine. I feel like Reese's Cups are indispensable. There's a reason that's in the number 1 slot. Like, I could not give that up. That has to be on there. I also definitely think that we want the, I think the Snickers bar also from the $5 tier, because I want something nougaty. Then, down on the $3 tier, putting me at $13, I want the Sour Patch Kids. That's one of my favorite candies in the world. And then, we can basically split the Sour Patch Kids into their 2 component elements by drafting 2 $1 items, Warheads and Gummy Bears. Which, if you fuse them together, that's what you get.
Pretty much, yeah. So, all right.
I like sour candy, and I like certain kind of chocolate. Bite me.
Going Reese's Pieces, and yes, I say it like that, I know. I'm going Sour Patch Kids. Mm-hmm. I'm going Skittles, so that puts me at 10.
Yep.
Then I'm going Warheads, Gummy Bears. I'm going to take away... Oh, fuck. So, I want to do Baby Ruth and Nerds, but that puts me at 16, so I got to drop one of the $1 ones. I'm going to drop Warheads, even though I really like them.
You already have Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, I got Sour Patch.
You already spent for the Sour Patch Kids, so, you know.
But yeah, I love a Baby Ruth, dude.
Okay, fair enough.
So good, just caramel peanut, chocolatey goodness.
Yeah, I mean, come to think of it, I probably could have gone for a budget when I was looking at the Twix and Snickers. I could have gone with the Baby Ruth and probably been pretty happy, but I don't know. Snickers satisfies me.
You could have taken a Baby Ruth and a Three Musketeers and squished them together and made a Snickers for the same price. That's 2 candy bars for the price of 1.
That feels like one of those McDonald's menu hacks.
Right. Let me get the McFishwich or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yo, did you see they have a chicken Big Mac now? That's all. That's the whole sentence.
Do they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I couldn't get it because they don't sell it after midnight. Last time I went, saw it on the menu.
Oh man, I'm about to try that because I do love a chicken sandwich. I do love a Big Mac.
I think it uses just the regular McChicken patty, so it should be pretty easy to guess how it's going to taste.
All right, this one should be fun. We answered this one the last episode, but it counts for this one too. You're offered $250 million. Oh, this is from Fenris. You're offered $250 million, but to claim it, you must enter the last video game that you played and stay there for an entire year. If you accept the deal, how's your life there?
I actually finished Iron Lung right before the podcast, so there's not a full year. That sub doesn't make it a full year. I'm lucky if it makes it a full hour.
I was going to say, I don't think that sub made it a full day.
Yeah.
Mine would be Final Fantasy 11. So, like, maybe if I stayed in town for an entire year, I'd be fine. I'd be bored as shit. But if I had to, like, go out and be an adventurer for an entire year, I mean, I would do it.
You could play Triple Triad with people and stuff. You could find things to do.
I could figure out. I'll be a crafter. I'll just go be a crafter and a gatherer for a year and make $250 million. I'm cool with it. All right, so scroll down to Mr. Dane Puzzles. You can only pick 3. No explanations. All right.
Oh, and it's a whole bunch of game series.
Yeah, we got Super Mario, Kirby, Mega Man, Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, Halo, Spyro, Metal Gear, Pokemon, Yoshi, Xenoblade Chronicles, Street Fighter, BioShock, Assassin's Creed, Fallout, God of War, Zelda, Splatoon, Pikmin, Mortal Kombat, Kingdom Hearts, Mass Effect, Persona, Tomb Raider, Metroid, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong, Doom, Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, Grand Theft Auto, Ratchet and Clank, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Super Smash Bros., Castlevania, Super Bonk, Final Fantasy, Sly Cooper, and SimCity. Whew. I gotta take a...
How the hell did Super Bonk make it onto that list?
As I said it, I was like, the TurboGrafx game?
Yeah, right?
Oh man, that's hard. There's a lot of good series. Fuck you, Dane.
I'm just gonna straight up go with my instinct and say Metroid, Doom, and Dark Souls. I think that'll give me enough variety that I'll always be happy.
Metroid, Doom, and Dark Souls. Oh man.
We'll kind of miss the platformers a little bit, but then you had to choose.
I'm going Mortal Kombat just because there's more of them. Final Fantasy. And, oh man, that last one's hard. Mortal Kombat, Final Fantasy.
Kind of surprised you're not going with either Persona or Fire Emblem already.
Well, that was my debate with the Persona between Persona and Final Fantasy. Was like, there's more.
I see.
There are more Final Fantasy games. Now, if that said Shin Megami, it says Shin Megami Tensei Persona, but I know it means the Persona series, not the Shin Megami Tensei series.
I probably would have gone with Castlevania instead of Metroid, except for because of that fact too that there's more games. But like that would have given me pretty much all gothic horror settings, and I would have liked at least one thing outside of that.
Oh man, Mortal Kombat, Final Fantasy, and just because on the kick I've been on lately, SimCity.
Okay, cool.
Though Tomb Raider probably kick SimCity in the nuts and toss it out of the ring.
I mean, if you get the other games in the Sim series, like The Sims, Sim Tower, and things like that for free with SimCity, then I think it's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, that's fair. I do love some Sims. Like The Sims 3 and 4 are pretty good. All right. Those are DBZ questions. All right. This is one for you, Willie, because I think we answered this on the last one, but I'll ask you this one. From me, what Square Enix game do you wish you could experience for the first time again?
Ooh. For the first time all over again? That's tough. It's down to a couple of them for me. I still haven't even finished Dragon Quest XI, or I would say that, but I still have stuff to experience for the first time in Dragon Quest XI, because I'm at the basically Act 3 of the game. The stuff that's kind of post-game-ish, but is apparently still the game.
Yeah, it's...
So instead I'm going to go with Chrono Trigger.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Just really, really good game, and I haven't forgotten enough of it that I could really experience it first time-ishly again.
I think mine would be the Kingdom Hearts. Like, just going in and seeing all those Disney worlds for the first time, being like, holy shit, two of my favorite things are merging into one. What is this? And it's a good game. What the fuck? Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing I was surprised by, was I really enjoyed the combat mechanics in it.
Yeah, they did a good job. All right, so
I am a hard sell on like action RPGs that are kind of on the RPG-ish side, but not enough so that they're turn-based. Like, I want my game to be either more action or more RPG than that usually, but I feel like that game really split the difference really well.
All right, pick a spicy chicken sandwich. We got Popeyes. Oh, this is from Jeff. Sorry.
Hi, Jeff.
We got Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Bojangles, Zaxby's, Jollibee, never heard of it, and Shake.
Jollibee.
Jollibee? Oh, okay.
I think Jollibee is mostly a Philippines thing.
And Shake Shack. Well, then let's replace Jollibee with... I guess no, this is just pick one. It's not which one you like best. It's just pick one.
Just pick one? Okay, so the first thing that really comes to visual notice is that Bojangles and Zaxby's are the only ones that didn't go with the traditional hamburger bun type of bun offer. Yeah. Bojangles has theirs on like a breakfast biscuit, and Zaxby's has theirs on basically like a patty melt style Texas toast.
Texas toast, baby, yeah. Now my next thing is that Chick-fil-A sandwich looks dry as shit.
The only time I had a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I was very unimpressed by how dry the chicken was. Like, it was before, like, I even knew about, like, the politics of Chick-fil-A or whatever. I just had a sandwich once and was like, this is not good, and just never wanted to eat there again. I like the pickles on it, but I just put pickles on a McDonald's McChicken and I'm happy. Speaking of McDonald's, I think the McCrispy is surprisingly good. Like, I'm tempted to go with the spicy McCrispy just because it's a pretty known quantity.
See,
there's just something about the texture on that Popeyes one, though, that looks real damn good.
I think
that's supposed to be the king of them anyway. That's the one to beat, right?
Popeyes, I believe so, but like
Chick-fil-A is the original and Popeyes is the one that started the war.
My issue, though, is I think three things belong on a spicy chicken sandwich. Mm-hmm. I was drooling on myself a little bit thinking about it. Mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato. But
right, and the spicy deluxe at McDonald's does have a spicy mayonnaise and lettuce and tomato.
And the Burger King also has it, and so does, which is not pictured here for some reason, the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh, you know what? Man, Wendy's runs in with a folding chair and takes down Jollibee.
That's what I was going to say, is that we should swap Jollibee with Wendy's earlier, because it was like, something that we actually know what it is and have tasted.
Also, the meat on the Burger King one looks pitiful. That looks ass.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's going to be badoing.
Have you ever had Burger King nuggets? Because occasionally they'll put them on sale, like 10 nuggets for $1. It's a trap. Don't get them. They're cardboard, dog.
Yeah, I don't mind their chicken fries, but they're pretty dry.
Yeah, chicken fries are okay. I got the mozzarella fries the other day because I'm like, you can't screw up a mozzarella stick even if you're Burger King. Guess what? The freaking marinara sauce basically tasted like ketchup. It was way too sweet, and it ruined the whole experience for me.
Yeah, gross.
So if you want mozzarella fries, you want to go with the fry-seasoned mozzarella sticks at Rally/Checkers. Those are dope.
But I think what my choice is going to end up being is going to be visually between Popeyes and KFC. And I would...
God, that chicken looks so good. Like, those people look like they know how to do chicken. They are chicken specialists. The breading on that chicken looks so textural.
It's a piece of chicken. It's not a patty.
Yes, it's a piece of chicken. Exactly. Yeah. That's a great way
to
put it.
And I think Zaxby's...
But not just the chicken, not just the meat itself, though, but look at the freaking... Like, just the texture of the breading looks so crisp. So good.
I know Zaxby's is tenders. So that's real chicken tenders that are on that sandwich. I've had that sandwich. It's pretty good. But...
I was just saying, it looks like it feels a little different from the rest of the game, but I would happily try it.
My thing with Zaxby's is they're really good. They're just expensive.
The other problem I have with Zaxby's is anytime I'm going there, I don't see any reason to get anything but chicken wings. I love wings way too much.
Wings are good, dude. But I would bring one of the Popeyes or KFC home, and I have a Popeyes right around the corner. I should do this. And just put my own lettuce and tomato on there. That way I know my tomato's nice and red, and it's not a mealy white piece of shit. You know, when you get a tomato that's just not a good tomato, it's got no flavor.
A Subway-ass
tomato. Yeah. No, man, I want one of those deep red tomatoes that have actual, flavor to it.
Buddy, I know what you're talking about. I'm the kind of guy that argues a BLT sandwich is a tomato sandwich that has bacon as a topping.
Yeah, absolutely. You need a good tomato. If you don't have good tomato, that sandwich is going to suck.
You need a fresh garden tomato. It's someone you know actually grew.
Yeah. So, but based solely on looks from this picture, I'm going Popeyes, man. It looks like it's got a little more...
I've got to say, Popeyes, it just looks... Like, if I get the McDonald's one, I'll be happy with it. The Popeye one looked like it could make my day. Yeah. I've got to go with it. I got to agree with you on this. Usually, I don't think we come to the same conclusion on shit like this, but I think that's number one, and Burger King is number last.
Yeah. I also... Man, that
number 10 out of 9.
Bojangles... Not only does the Chick-fil-A look dry, but the Bojangles looks dry, and it's a biscuit, so it's going to choke you.
Oh, yeah, that does look like a choking hazard. I almost didn't want to consider the Bojangles at all because it looked like it's doing its own thing.
That's a breakfast sandwich.
Like, that clearly looks like a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, that's a fucking breakfast biscuit.
I'm not down with that. No, I mean, I'm down with that for breakfast, but even then, I would rather have a moisture sausage or like an egg biscuit than a fried chicken biscuit.
Yeah, bro. Give me a Hardee's sausage, egg, and cheese. Add mayonnaise.
I don't even think I would need to add mayonnaise, but it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Dude, my buddy that I worked with at Coke, Tony, used to be like, you put mayonnaise on a bacon, egg, and cheese or a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit? I was like, yes. He's like, why? I said, because it's delicious. Dude, it'll change your fucking life. He's like, they don't need it. I said, no, they don't. But it's better with it. I was like, dude, just trust me. So I'm going to tell you the same thing. Try it. Just try it and report back. Let me know what you think. So
yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I just never would have thought of doing it on my own.
Our final question is technically Dragon Ball related, but since Kana got it in late after the episode, we'll do it this one. Kana wants to know, I thought of this too late for the episode, but if Boo was to turn you into a food, what food would you be?
All right, I got to admit, I tapped out of Dragon Ball before they got to the Boo saga. So I mean, I came back to watch some of Super and all that, but I didn't watch the Boo saga ever. I haven't got back.
So Boo's thing
does Boo turn people into a specific kind of food, or how does that work?
So Boo just goes like,
I'm gonna eat you,
and he's like,
what would you be delicious as? I know, chocolate.
And he turns people into chocolate, or he'll turn people into crack cookies and stuff like that. So, like, what do you think he would turn you into?
Is it usually dessert foods, or is it anything?
He's a big fat bastard. He likes sweets.
He is, yeah. That's interesting because I really prefer savory foods to sweet ones, so it's a little harder for me. I feel like I would probably be some kind of packaged candy. Like, I'm definitely thinking that, you know what I bet he would go for?
Nerds.
You son of a bitch. I kind of set you up for that one. That was a bit of an alley-oop. I'll give you it. I'll give it to you. I'm thinking, I don't usually get them that often, but when I do, I'm like, why don't I get this more? Freaking peach rings, dude.
I do love a peach ring. I do. It's one of those that, like, when I'm in Walgreens and I'm looking through the dollar candies and stuff, I see them and I'm like,
yes.
You know what? I'm going to get some peach rings. Like, I don't think about them until I see them, and then I'm like, I want those. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, you get it.
I think he would turn me, because I'm not going to go with the sweets. I think he would turn me into a rack of ribs.
Oh.
Just because of how much ribs that I make.
I don't know. I mean, you make so much good ribs that it's like, I do think you'd be a pretty good rack of ribs, man.
He would turn me into a nice barbecued pair of ribs, and he would just be like, no, and he'd throw it in his mouth at once and just swallow it and be like, yummy, and then he'd turn somebody else into another food, because that's what he did. He went through...
They turned someone else into coleslaw.
So basically, Boo... Just a quick rundown. Spoilers for Dragon Ball Z. Boo kills everyone on Earth, including like Bulma and everyone. He just turns them into food and eats them.
Okay.
And then
the show's over.
And then it's Piccolo.
No, I'm sure Goku runs back from
Piccolo, Gohan, and Goku have to team up and take him down. And it's actually Gohan and Trunks, Kid Trunks. They morph together into Gotenks.
Gotenks? Okay, so that's where Gotenks comes from.
Gotenks fucking, what a hilarious character. He's so cocky and full of himself. But yeah, that's basically how it goes down. But yeah, he turns the whole world into food and eats everybody.
Wouldn't you be cocky if you had Goku and Vegeta as your dads?
That's fair. It's funny because they go to like train him. They're like, all right, we need to teach you how to turn Super Saiyan. He's like, oh, you mean this? Boom! And just turns Super Saiyan. And they're like, how the fuck can you do that already? It's like, because I'm the shit. At least that's how I think they probably do it in abridged.
Yeah.
It's like I saw a scene from Sparking Zero where Gotenks goes, I can take him down? No cap? No cap? Really? I guess you got to bring it into the modern lingo somehow. Oh, man.
No cap, that Kaioken bussin', for real.
For real. It's full of Riz.
Oh, yeah. You got that Risen Destructo disc.
Well, so next week we will be playing we'll be talking about Alien Isolation, and we'll be joined by Dane and Jeff from Dane and Jeff's
Speaking of Dane and Jeff
Media
and
Dump.
Dane and Jeff's Media Dump, we joined them on their previous episode about the game Alien, or the movie Alien, which I had actually seen for the first time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so we had a lot of things to talk about on it. It's a rowdier episode than the usual Steam Machine podcast episode because first off, them boys, and second off, Alien has a lot of undertones that can be kind of disturbing for people. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be having those guys back for Alien Isolation as part of a Steam Machine Productions package deal.
Yes, sir. And then after that, Mikolov will be joining us for some Dungeon Munchies.
Which, still not very sure about what that is, except for kind of a hybrid cooking horror thing?
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. And then I have been tasked with coming up with some freebie games. So the only one I've come up with so far that I wanted to play is Higurashi When They Cry. It's going to be our first visual novel.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's not long, because it's only chapter 1. There are like 8 chapters, but only the first one's free. So we're going to play the free one.
So the Poppy Playtime model, basically. Exactly. And then... I like that. And then if we like it enough, maybe... Because I thought maybe it would be worth doing a full Poppy Playtime episode at some point in the future. Like, especially if they make like a 3rd chapter of that game.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, if we like Higurashi Chapter 1, then maybe next year we buy Chapter 2, and do that, and we can hash them out over the next 8 years or whatever.
Right. Our Yakuza
Yeah, exactly. And then... I'll come up with a few more. I'll snoop around and
I'll look for some too, because usually I found when I browse through the itch.io sections, especially, there's stuff that just looks so conceptually interesting that like came out of weird game jams and shit, or just like one teenager with Unity in a dream, and I love those things.
I mean, that's how we found that St. Augustine Lighthouse horror game and all the little weird shit on itch.io. So yeah, absolutely, dude. Mm-hmm. So I guess that just leaves some house cleaning, then we'll get up out of here, my good sir. If you would be so kind as to leave us a review over on iTunes or Spotify, give us a 5-star review, leave us what you think. I know on Spotify you can comment on episodes and stuff. If you ever have any comments that you want to leave on there, do it. The interaction can't hurt. We're available wherever you find your podcasts. If you want to come join our Discord, I don't even plug our social media anymore because social media is a cesspool. You want to come join our Discord where it's just cool people and we talk about cool stuff and gaming and movies and whatever you want to do, and there's no drama. That's the big selling point. No drama.
Oh, yeah. It's actually been a really chill Discord the whole time.
bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. That'll get you an invite. Come join in on the madness. You can vote on the polls. Let's talk about the polls that are paused during the Spooktober. But the listener poll up right now. The next game that we're going to be playing after Spooktober. So So I had this conversation with Mikolov, but I'm going to have it with you now too on the air, Willie. After Spooktober, I say we do Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and then we reset on hosts pickings. So like I'll re-roll for me, you, and Mikolov, and we'll reorder.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll just kind of start a new, like season 2 almost, but not really. You know what I'm saying? But we'll reset after that, and then Pathologic 2 will be the next choice after that.
Oh, cool.
So,
that is, I'm so happy that one won.
I can't wait. I am so stoked. The poll that is...
Again, that's one that people have been telling me, the less you know going in, the better. So I've been studiously ignoring information about it. But then I forget that we're actually doing it soon, and it makes me happy to think about it all over again.
Yes, sir. And the poll that is currently up, your choices are Death Stranding, Jurassic World Evolution, Dusk Diver, The Surge, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD Remaster.
Is The Surge about the soft drink that had a lot of caffeine in it?
It is. You're a sentient can of soda with a chainsaw.
That's right. You're a sentient can of soda, and it's on that night with no laws apply. Yeah. The Surge.
Surge Purge.
Surge Purge. Surge Purge gives you the
urge.
It's
down in the Gurge.
The Gurge.
Over yonder. But yeah, Jurassic World Evolution is winning that poll right now. So
though Tony Hawk is on there too, and Death Stranding has a little bit of votes. So, anyone's game.
No love for Dusk Diver.
There's only
no love for...
Yeah, Dusk Diver and Surge Purge have not quite got on the board yet.
Yeah, it's okay. They're lesser known games. But yeah, we're probably going to end up building ourselves a Jurassic Park, so we'll see how that goes. Short game poll. Up next is the Unfinished Swan, which I am super hyped about. I've been waiting to get y'all to play that game forever. I am going to try to rope in Nate to join us on that one, because that's a game that I think that he really enjoy.
I was waiting for it to be finished. Did I make that joke last time we said this? So. Damn it.
He wants the finished goose, not the unfinished swan.
The finished goose!
So, it's Unfinished Swan and Toy Box Turbos are our last 2 winners.
Wait, is Unfinished Swan, Untitled Goose Game, and Duck Game a trilogy?
No, but that would be hilarious if it was, kind of like loosely. No, Unfinished Swan, I think, was the first game that I ever played by Annapurna.
Okay, I am looking forward to that, because I do understand that one is an art, and I would like to play an art.
Yeah, it's definitely an art game for sure. That has a nice little story to it, too. But the poll that's up for that, we got, that and Toy Box Turbos, so we'll be doing a Toy Box racing game at some point, too. But the short poll that's up, Laser Disco Defenders, Leaves the Journey, title. Mushroom Wars, The Secret Order 6 Bloodline,
is that a hidden object game? Because that sure sounds like...
Absolutely is.
Hell yeah.
And Creepy Tail. All of these games have cool names.
Is Leaves the Journey the sequel to Exit that just sitting, or Enters Just Sits There? Sorry, I'm really full of beans right now for some reason. I just want to make stupid jokes all day.
Full of beans because you ate Taco Bell.
I did eat Taco Bell. Yeah, I had they brought back the double-decker taco, which I think has beans in between the two. That's the beans.
That's the beans of it. And then the retro poll, we still needed to start that up. I don't think we've actually done a game from the retro poll yet, but the Legend of the River King is the one that is waiting. And winning by a landslide is Rayman 2 The Great Escape in the poll for that one.
When the hell did that happen? Because Oregon Trail was killing it the first couple weeks of that poll.
It was Oregon Trail. Huh. So we got Oregon Trail, Panic Restaurant, Mutant Hockey League, Rayman 2 The Great Escape, Blood Fresh Supply, and Pandemonium.
You know, the weirdest thing is I forgot that I nominated Panic Restaurant. Who nominated Blood? That sounds like what I would have done.
I did. I nominated, the first 2 are yours, so Oregon Trail and Panic Restaurant. Okay. Then the next 2 were Nate's.
I remembered Oregon Trail.
Mutant Hockey League.
I figured Panic Restaurant was mine too, though, just because I only picked it because I saw a good Let's Play of it, and it seemed like underrated and unknown classic for the NES.
But yeah, so if you want to come vote on those polls and come hang out with us in chat, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. You want to check out the website, kept up to date by one Dane, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically. If you want to donate to the show and help me keep the lights on and stuff, that would be great, because we did just go through a hurricane down here. So, again, yeah. So it is patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast, $1 or more a month. Gets you every episode early and ad-free. If you donate $10 or more, you get that. Oh, and the episodes have little bonus content in the beginning, just for the Patreon people to hear. And if
we talked about boats.
We did. We talked about boats and submarines.
Boats and ships and submarines.
If you donate $10 or more, you can get all of that, plus your name read on each and every episode like these wonderful people. Nate's or Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube, Ariesoradam, shout out to his game in Discord, Backlog Golf.
Oh, yes.
Team Retrogue, go check him out on YouTube, and you'll be hearing him more on the show here coming up soon. Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, Chad, the Mad Lad, no goddamn seeing his last name Shaffer, and Flyin Brian Doran Gray. You're all very much appreciated.
Thank you very much for your support. It means a lot to us.
For sure. If you want to buy a shirt, tsnpproductions.threadless.com. Shout out to Yab Squad, yet another BS podcast. Check out the episodes in the archive. Shout out to the JRPG Report, my bi-weekly JRPG news show. We just covered Tokyo Game Show and all the cool stuff coming out of there.
Exciting.
If you like the music, nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. Check out Tragedy Idol, The Longing over on Spotify. You got anything you would like to plug, my good sir?
Like we said earlier, Dane and Jeff's Media Dump covered Alien with us, and it might be good listening. It was a little more freeform and bullshitty than what we usually do on here, which is kind of surprising because this show is about 80% that.
But it was a good time, man. It's a good time. It was
a lot of fun. Yeah, love those guys. They're a lot of fun.
I got it pulled up here. It's a little over 2 hours and 40 minutes. So buckle up. It's a good conversation, though. All right, man. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week with those gentlemen to talk to you all about Alien Isolation. But until then, everybody, take it easy.